When I walked in to pack my things, my cheating wife yelled, "What the hell are you doing?" I told her I'd had enough and I was leaving for good. I'll never forget that moment. Everything changed. I walked through the door, suitcase in hand, ready to leave the home I had built with hard work, sweat, and sacrifice over the years. A home that symbolized love, commitment, and trust to me. But none of that mattered anymore. It was supposed to be the perfect life, wasn't it? Maria and I met a few years ago at a business meeting in Zurich. She was elegant, perceptive, and composed, the kind of woman I admired at the time. I was climbing the career ladder in the luxury hotel industry, working 12-hour days and not even having time to think about love. But Maria changed all that. She was a rising star in the financial world, with an exceptional mind and unwavering determination. We were a power couple on the rise. In the first few years after we got married, we traveled the world, attended events, and fulfilled our dreams. Our relationship seemed unbreakable, but as I became more successful, cracks began to appear. At first, they were just small things. An email that seemed a little too personal, received late at night, an inexplicable phone call while I was in the shower. I just brushed it off, of course. Who doesn't have a busy work schedule? But I felt a growing distance, and the once vibrant chemistry between us began to fade. I used to think that her intelligence and ambition were strange, distracted, secretive, as if she was hiding something. It all started with a wrong message. One evening, I came home early from a business trip and prepared a surprise dinner for Maria. I went into the room, set the table, and waited excitedly for the time to spend with her. But when I picked up my phone to check the time, I noticed something strange. Her phone was on the kitchen counter and kept ringing. I picked up the phone and glanced at the screen. A message from someone called Luca, no surname, just Luca. The message was short. "I miss you, can't wait to see you again, my stomach is in a spin." I should have ignored it and put it down, but I didn't. I scrolled back and read one conversation after another, each one more intimate than the last. Flirty texts, jokes, and plans to meet up in the city the following week. I broke down, feeling sick, but I had no conclusive evidence. Maybe it was just harmless flirting, but deep down I knew my bones. When Maria walked in, she saw the dinner I had prepared and smiled. But now it was different. The smile felt fake. She didn't even notice the tension in the room. She kissed my cheek, and we ate in silence, and the air was full of unsaid words. The next few weeks felt like I was walking in a fog. Everything was unclear. I began to pay attention to her every move. This was not paranoia, but instinct. I knew something was wrong. I began to follow her daily activities and ask her about her day. Every time, she gave too much detail, as if rehearsing her story. One night, I discovered something that completely crushed me. I was sorting out my clothes and found something strange, a soft and luxurious scarf I had never seen before. It was hanging on a chair in the bedroom, as if it had been forgotten there in a hurry. I picked it up and ran my fingers over the fabric. It wasn't an ordinary scarf, but a unique piece from a brand I had seen on a trip to Milan last year, but Maria hadn't bought. A sudden flash of inspiration came to me, and that night I asked her about the scarf. She really didn't seem to know, claiming not to know where it came from. But when I pressed her, she became very nervous, very nervous. The next day, I decided to confront her, but I still didn't have enough evidence to accuse her directly. I walked along the narrow pavement, afraid of falling, but also afraid of the darkness. I took a moment to catch my breath. It had been a tense journey, and I knew it had deeply moved me. If you want to find out more about how our protagonist faced painful truths and rebuilt her life, subscribe to Lauren's story. You won't want to miss the rest of this emotional journey as it unfolds. Ready? Let's start again and see what happens next. That day, a rainy Thursday, everything came crashing down. I'd been keeping my suspicions to myself, but I'd reached my limit. I'd had enough. I was going to have it out with her. I waited until she came home that evening, and when she crossed the threshold, I was ready. "Maria, we need to talk," I said, my voice cold and flat. She gave me a quick glance, forced a smile, and threw her bag on the sofa. "What's wrong?" she asked. She obviously had no idea that a storm was brewing. Without wasting time on small talk, I asked her, "Who is Luca?" Her face instantly paled, and I seemed to see panic in her eyes. "What are you talking about?" she stammered. I repeated myself again, this time with more determination. "Who is Luca? Why did you text him? Why is his name everywhere on your phone?" She hesitated, as if realizing she had been exposed, then sighed and sat down. I swear it was nothing. Her voice trembled, but I could see the loneliness in her composure. Okay, those words hit me like a slap in the face. After all this time, after all these years, I feel lonely. My voice trembled with anger and disbelief. I couldn't believe she had admitted it so lightly. And she turned away, ashamed. But it doesn't mean anything. You were never there, always working. And Luca was always there for me. He understood me. But you broke my heart. But I won't let her get away with it easily. Easy, you think I don't understand you? I was building our future, Maria, and this is how you repay me. I won't beg. I won't try to fix what can't be fixed. But I won't leave without making her understand the consequences of what she's done. In the following days, I kept thinking about my plan. I knew what I had to do, and I was ready. I didn't just want to leave. I wanted her to feel everything I felt, every second of betrayal and pain. I wasn't going to leave without leaving a trace. It was that Saturday that everything came to a head. I spent the whole morning slowly and deliberately packing my things, which were scattered all over the room: clothes, books, photos. Maria and her colleague had gone out to lunch, and I knew I was alone in the house. Just as I finished packing, I heard the front door open. Maria's voice came up the stairs and she shouted, "Hey, I'm home." I remained silent, my heart racing. She went into the bedroom, thinking I was watching TV on the sofa, but her face turned pale when she saw the suitcase by the door and the empty closet. She shouted, "What the hell are you doing?" There was no fear in her voice, only anger. I stood up and for the first time in days I met her gaze. "I'm leaving, Maria. I'm finished." Her face went from confusion to anger. "You can't just—" I interrupted her. "No, I can't go on pretending that nothing has happened. You've made your choice, now I'll make mine." Her eyes filled with tears, but they didn't make me feel anything. I've had enough of lies and deceit. I loved her once, but now I feel nothing but emptiness. I leave Maria and never return. As I walk out the door, suitcase in hand, I feel a strange calm. I'm about to leave the woman I've built a life with, leaving behind memories, the future we had planned and the dreams we shared. But it's not as painful as I thought it would be. The pain of betrayal had burned away all emotions. It was over. I was free. Sometimes the hardest thing is not the betrayal itself, but the moment you realize you are worth more than the lie. Thank you for being a part of this story. By subscribing, you're not just following a channel, you're becoming a part of a community that values deep and meaningful storytelling. Together, let's continue exploring these journeys from the heart. Don't forget to click the notification bell so you don't miss our next story.